Hi lovelies, you're welcome to Heidi Fashion and Craft, and here on our screen is the design we'll be learning today. So let's dive into the tutorial. So for this design, I'll be making use of this fabric. This fabric is stretchy on both sides, but one side is more stretchy than the other. So here is my boning. You can use the sewable boning and you can use the non-sewable boning. You can get this in a tailoring material shop. You need your tape, you need your pin, your scissors, your chalk, and but the major material here is your boning and the fabric you are using. As long as the material is stretchy, you can use any material that is stretchy. So here I have the stretchy part. So the stretchy part will be the head circumference side. So I'll fold this material into two to take my measurement. So for this stretchy side, I measure 11.5. That is the head circumference divided by 2, which is 23 divided by 2, 11.5. Then for the length, I have 30 inches. So I have 23 by 30 inches for the fabric. The stretchy side is the 23 inches side. So we'll be creating our band from this measurements. We won't be adding extra band, we'll be getting our band from this measurement. So you measure 3 inches. You measure 3 inches downward like this. So once you're through with the marking, you fold it. You fold the material like this. You can see you fold it on the marking like this. Then you pick it up just like this to form our band. Let me repeat this. You fold the material on the mark you made. Then hold it up. Yes, so then you hold it down with your pin, or you take it to your sewing machine and sew this down directly. So here you just take it to the sewing machine and sew this down. This is how the right side will look. It will look as if you have attached your band. So after sewing, this is what I have. You can see it looks exactly as if I attach a band. Then the next thing is to move to our marking to create our pleats. So firstly, you mark 3 inches right from the beginning. You mark 3 inches again. So my chalk is not showing, so I pick up this paper just to illustrate for us to see very well. So from the tip, I mark 3 inches. I measure 3 inches right from the beginning. So here I have 3 inches first. Then from these 3 inches, you measure 1.5 inches downward. So here I just replace the biro so that we understand very well. So this is my 1.5 inches. I use the blue biro. The first one I use the red biro. So from that blue biro you come down by 2 inches again. This time around you come down by 2 inches. From the first line you rule, you come down by 2 inches. So the interval between this first blue biro and the red biro will be the space between the first pleat and the second pleat. This will be the space between the first pleat and the second pleat. So on this mark, on the last mark again, you take your measurement and measure 1.5 inches again, just like the first one that we did. You make mark 1.5 inches. So this is where the second pleat will sit. So from that 1.5, we mark 2 inches again. That is the difference between the first the difference between the two pleats, the space between the two pleats. That is the 2 inches that we are marking. The 1.5 inches that we mark is where the pleat will sit. So you continue your marking like this till you have 5 lines. The 1.5 inches line, you make sure that it's up to 5 because we are having 5 pleats. So you continue with this measurement on your fabric. So once you finish the measurement on your fabric, so to create your pleats, you just hold the 1.5 inches mark. The place you mark 1.5 inches, you can see where I mark 1.5 inches is by blue biro. So this is what I have. So you just fold it on the 1.5 inches, you measure 1.5 and sew it down straight. Here I open it up again. We have 3 inches here, and from here to the second plate we have 1.5 inches. So it is on that line that you will fold. You will fold on this line. So you fold on all the 1.5 inches line till you get to the end of your marking. That is just 5 pleats. We need to create just 5 pleats. So here is the first one. You will fold the 1.5 inches mark. Then you sew this straight down to create the first pleat. You'll be doing this on the right side of the fabric because the pleat is more or less like outside pleat. So once you're through with that first line, you will jump to the next 1.5 inches line. The next one, the next line is 2 inches. Then after that 2 inches, we now have another line which is 1.5. So we'll be folding on all the 1.5 inches. So here is the second 1.5. So here I've picked up my material, I've marked it, so I'm trying to fold it on my material for us to understand better. So I'm folding it on the 1.5 inches. You can see my 1.5 inches line. You can see my yellow chalk. That is where my 1.5 inches mark is. So after you fold, you pick your tape, and from that fold you mark 1.5 inches. There's no need of using your chalk to mark this. You can just hold it down with your pin. You can use your pin to get the 1.5 inch. The essence of this is just to have a straight line. You can take it to a sewing machine and be tracing it while sewing. So the essence of it is just to have a straight line that is 1.5 inches all through. So you'll be sewing directly on that 1.5 inches all through to the end. So while folding, please ensure that you fold on that line exactly so that it will be straight. So after that, you pick up the next one. You can see my next yellow mark. I have blue mark and I have yellow mark. The yellow mark is the 1.5 inches mark, so I'll be folding the yellow point again. So measure the 1.5 and pin. Repeat the same thing for the third pleat till you get to the fifth pleat. So this is it. I've sewed it down. I've removed my pin. So here I have my 5 pleats already. So I've placed the bodies. So the next thing now is to slant our fabric. So you just pick it up. The first pleat, you come in by 2 inches. The second one, you come in by 2.5. The third, 3 inches. The fourth, 3.5. Then the last one, 4 inches. You just come in like that to have a slant line. Just want it slant. This marking will not touch your band. You can see the way I cut it. To not touch your band. Then you repeat this same thing to the other side. So the reason for this slant is that the boning at the down part is not as long as the upper part. So to avoid bulky material, that's the reason why we slant this. So after slanting it, you just take it to your sewing machine and secure the edges. Because we've cut it, you have cut the edges away. To secure everything, then you have to take it back to your sewing machine and sew this down. And here is my boning. Once I'm through with all the pleats, the next thing is to fix in my boning. So I cut out 5 pieces. So the first one is 30 inches, the second one 28. After 28, I have 25, I have 23, and I have 17 inches of this boning. So you start with the longest. So you pick the longest and fix it to the first pleat. You fix it in. So once you fix it in, you apply your glue and gum this together. You can take it to the sewing machine and stitch it down if you are using a sewable boning. But if you are using the non-sewable boning, you glue this down. So while you using UHU gum, just make sure the gum dry a bit before you glue it. That's you have a good the glue will stick together very well. So here I'm fixing in the remaining boning and trying to glue it together. And after gluing it, this is what I have. I've not glued the last one, but I've glued the first one, so I'm trying to fix it in. So the next thing is to pull your fabric. You will pull your fabric till you have a firm, till it's very firm, not too tight and not too loose. You just continue to pull your fabric till you have that bouncy effect. So you can see, if you want it to be more tighter than this, you just pull your fabric. You pull it on each other and use your needle and thread to tack it down. You just tack it in a way that you know that it will get secured. You secure it well. There is no standard way of tacking. Just tack it anyhow you feel it will be secured very well. but you make sure you pull it very well. But while pulling, it should not be too tight and should not be too loose. So I'm done with the first one. I'm trying to pull the second one. So it is how you pull that will determine how bouncy the cap will be. You can see the first one. And try to pull. So you just pull. After pulling, you secure this with your needle and thread again. And repeat the same process to get to the end of the 5 pleats. So here I'm done. So this is the reason why we slant it. You know, the last bone is very small, so if you don't slant it, the bulky material, the material at the back will be too bulky. So here is the excess. You can cut it out if you feel that is much, but here I did not cut it out. I just used my needle and tried to make a gather stitch. But if you don't want a bulky material at the back, you can just trim this out. You can trim like 2 inches out, but here I did not trim it out. I just make a running stitch and pull. But I recommend that you trim it out a bit, because here the material inside is so bulky. I later noticed that it's so bulky, so you can just trim it out to have little material inside. And please don't forget to give us a thumbs up, and if you have not subscribed to this channel, this is the best time for you to subscribe. Kindly support your girl by subscribing to this channel. So here I have it. Then you can see that we still have opening. So what you need to do is just to use your needle and thread to gather it together, but before that we have to close the band area. So you measure your head circumference. Because this material is stretchy, I deduct 1 from my my head circumference is 23, so I later use 22. I cut out 23, so I use 22 inches as my head circumference because it's very stretchy and I want it firm on my head. So I use 22 inches as my head circumference. I'll just take this to a sewing machine and stitch it down to where I can reach, not all through to the end. You just stitch it to where it's convenient for you, to where you can reach. So here I've stitched this down. We still have the opening in between the boning. So to close the opening, you just use your needle and thread to make a running stitch. So here I've make a running stitch and pull. Just pull it to create, to attach the boning, hold the bonings together. So here I just use my needle and thread to tack the bonings together, just to tack them down to be a bit flat at the back. Just use my needle and thread to hold them together to be a bit flat at the back. This design is majorly the work of your needle and thread. So while doing this design, make sure you use a matching color of thread. So here I'm done. The next thing is to make our rose. For this rose is totally optional. You can decide to use applique, you can use another ready-made rose, you can make your own rose just like this. You can use anything, you can make a loop, you can just use anything to design the back as you want. Here I just made a small rose. So for this rose I have 30 by 4 inches. So I have 30 by 4 inches. So you just fold it into two and just slim the edge. You fold it into two and trim out the edge to have a slimmer edge. You do the same thing for the other side. After that, you fold it into two with the right side inward, then take this to a sewing machine, you stitch it down, and after stitching it, you turn it to the right side and make your running stitch. You pick your needle and thread and make your running stitch all through from one edge to the other. So after making this running stitch, you just pick it and roll it to form your rose. Just roll on each other like this to form your rose, then tack down with your needle and thread. So with this, your rose is ready. Like I said earlier, you can use a ready-made rose, you can use any applique, you can use you can make a loop, you can use any design on it, not necessarily a rose. So the next thing is to fix it at the back of the cap. Yeah, fix it with my UHU glue, and afterwards I use my needle and thread to tack it down. This will make it more durable, like you cannot rely on the glue, so you have to still tack this down. Then after tacking and arranging, here is the final look of our cap. So thank you all for watching. If you have not subscribed, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and give us a thumbs up. See you in another tutorial. Bye.